everyone, it's me, Julian Greystoke. You may recognize me as the author of The Wolf and the Hawk, a fantasy romance which has been out for insert here number of months. Available on Amazon in paperback, ebook, and audiobook, so you have options for if you want to consume this book. Do you like romance with a plot? Do you like kissing but also some killing? The Wolf and the Hawk might be the book for you. But anyway, I recently restarted my self-published career. So many air quotes for this. And I just kind of wanted to report in and see how I'm feeling about this new era of Julian, if you will. My book's been out for a little while. It has some reviews. How is it going? Mostly we're going to kind of be talking about a lot of the anxieties that I have as a self-published author, which I think probably pretty relatable to lots of people who are published in any form, or even worried about becoming published. So I'm not really here to offer you any solutions or anything. We're just going to talk about where I am in the world of self-publishing and how I'm feeling about it. Alright? First of all, my book is doing about what I expected. It's not hugely popular, but people are reading it. It is getting some reads. Doing better than the first book I self-published very long time ago. That book, I didn't have as much of an internet presence, and I still don't have a huge internet presence now, but at least I have one, whereas back then I was just basically only had my teeny tiny little YouTube channel and that's it. So I had fewer ways to get my book out there. So now that I have a little bit more of an internet presence, I am able to get my book out there and heard about a little bit more, so that helped. Still not a ton of readers, still not a ton of reviewers, but enough that I know people are at least reading it, which is the goal. It is reviewing decently. Do I wish it was reviewing higher? Of course I do. No, I have no illusions about it being an amazing, perfect book. Never once, even once in the writing of this book did I ever get the feeling, wow, this is amazing, this is going to get so many 5 stars. No, I understand. It's a mid-range book. It sits comfortably in people's hearts as something they enjoyed reading and then could move on from. I am aware of that. But do I secretly, in my heart of hearts, wish a few more people found it 5-star worthy? Of course I do. Now I am pleased that I'm not just getting a ton of 5 stars or a ton of 1 stars, because that means that people are actually reading it and giving their actual thoughts on it rather than just spewing too much love my way just because they're like friends or family, or just hating on it because they can. Not that a 1-star means that people are hating on it because they can, but just when you've got that range of only 5 stars and only 1 stars on a book, you kind of know that it's just being looked at by people who absolutely love the author and people who absolutely hate the author, and it needs to get some other reviewers in there. Do I wish it was reviewing more highly? Of course I do. I try not to look at the numbers, but every now and then I do anyway, and you know, you always want your book to be doing better. You always do. You can't help it. A big thorn in my side is that I know I've been told by a few readers that it still has typos in it, and it just makes me so angry. I paid someone to get rid of my typos. I went through it so many times myself. There are still typos in it. Nothing huge, nothing book-breaking. I think most people could get through them, but that is something that readers are telling me, and it makes me so mad because I tried to get rid of them. It's not like I just threw it out there and published it without making any attempt to get rid of the typos. Couple of really quick clarifications if anyone's interested. The person who I had go through the book was indeed a actual editor. She is a freelance editor, yes, but she is an English teacher and has been for many years. One would think that she would be reasonably qualified to go through the book. The other thing that people might be thinking is, well, Julian, just go in and just like get a typo every now and then that you hear about. Go get it. But because I also formatted the book myself, I have this problem where it seems like every time I touch it, the formatting gets thrown out of whack. So I really need to go in one big fell swoop and get all the typos. Also, anytime that you edit your book on Amazon, it's down for up to 2 days. So I don't want to do that either. So I'm just kind of waiting for the stars to align perfectly for me to be able to go in and get as many of those typos as I possibly can. So I do apologize for the typos that are in there right now. I hope that you can
can forgive them and see past them and still see a quality book. But I do understand that they are very frustrating, and I am frustrated as well. Trust me, this whole thing is redonkulous.
People think, I think, in the non-writing world, they believe that getting rid of the typos is the easiest part of publishing a book, when in my experience, it's the hardest part. Getting a mostly typo-free book is possibly one of the most challenging things. I'm gonna go back in and try and fix them when I have time, but like, I'm so frustrated that there's still some typos in there. If you are reading a self-published book and not just mine, remember to be more forgiving, because paying for an editor is cost prohibitive, and many of us can't afford to have an editor go through it twice or have two editors go through it looking for typos. So we are limited to usually one editor and also ourselves and friends or family, whoever can go through looking for typos. People who are traditionally published have their book gone through multiple times, and they don't have to pay for it. It's all worked out. They don't have to pay that editor to do that up front. So please be merciful. So now we come up to some of the anxiety I'm having about The Wolf and the Hawk as a book. Nigel is here. He's bumping my camera in case anyone was wondering what's going on. So I worry about the sequel because people reading The Wolf and the Hawk say that they want more with Rayoni's people, the Vern, and there will be more. It's going to be in an upcoming book, but the next book is not going to be about them, and I'm worried that I might lose some readers because they don't want to wait for a third book to read more about the Vern. It's cool that they want to read more about these people, but I also am worried that I've made a horrible mistake in making the next book not focus on the Vern. So that's what I worry about. I also really worry that The Wolf and the Hawk is not a strong enough first book. Like, what if somebody reads another book in the series and then comes back to read the first one and they're horribly disappointed because it's terrible? Or it's just not strong enough to convince people to keep reading in the series. Did I pick the best book that I could have to be the first one in a series? That's an anxiety that I have. Maybe it's not, you know, like maybe it's a terrible first book to a series. Also a big question I keep asking myself is, why did I decide to restart my self-publishing career doing two things I don't normally do? Writing romance and writing a series. I almost never write romance, and this is my first series ever. So I love a challenge. I love not always doing the same thing every time when I write. I always try to do something a little bit new and challenging to myself. Is this the best time, me, to be doing two things that you don't normally do? Who knows? Now I've done them, but it's a concern that this was a terrible idea. And I guess my final thought for this video is, this is what being published is like. I wanted this. All of this anxiety, all of this stressing over numbers, all of this wondering if my book is good enough. This is what it's like. You think to yourself, it's going to be great. I'm going to sit here feeling good all the time because everyone loves my book, but of course that's never going to be true. And you just have to find a way to live with it and all that anxiety that comes with it. And most of the time, I'm on a pretty even keel, but every now and then, it's just like anxiety explosion. So, usually what I do is I go write more book about it. My family likes to say, feeling bad, make art about it, so that's what I often do. But there's all these concerns, man, and they're never gonna go away. I could probably write 80 books and still have all of these concerns. I'm sure even some of the top-notch, traditionally published authors who are making the big bucks have these concerns. Are you a self-published author? How's that going for you? How's that struggle going? I hate to tell you that it doesn't get better, it just gets different. If you are someone who is self-published and you're feeling pretty confident about it, please feel free to share that too. I'd love to hear the other side of the coin of people who are feeling really good about how their self-publishing choices are going. I'm still working on trying to become a hybrid author because I think I have enough stories that I could do both. We'll find out. I'm sure that will have delightful anxieties all its own if I ever manage to get that off the ground. In the meantime though, if you are feeling like checking out The Wolf and the Hawk, if you want to help support me and help me afford things like that editor that I mentioned, you can support me over on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month you get exclusive access to content not seen here on the regular channel. My patrons help me afford editor, my patrons help me afford an awesome cover, they even help me afford a little bit of the money that I spent getting it turned into an audiobook, so patrons are a big heckin' deal. Don't forget there's a lot of content here on my channel for you to check out. A lot of stuff about writing and books and self-publishing stuff. Just check it out. It's all here. I've been doing this YouTube thing for a hot minute. All the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo for ease of your clicking, and I will see all of you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!
Oh no, everyone! My patrons are missing! Quick, have you seen Belle, Patrick, Anne Sophie, Callison, Ray, Artemis, Shelby, Zaire, Jesper, Irene, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, Amanda, Lisa, Sarah, Very Bad Books, or Anna W, or Anna C? Oh, never mind. They're right there. At my Patreon, where they always are. Being awesome. Uh-oh, running out of breath, but I got stamina. Uh-oh, running now, I close my eyes. Oh, I got stamina. Uh-oh, see another mountain to climb, but I got stamina. Uh-oh, I need another love of me mine, 'cause I got stamina.